The internet thrives on negativity, it's just the way that it is. If I was to walk up to you and be all like, hey, how's it going? Are you doing all right? Half of you would grab me by the trachea as I'm screaming, no, please stop. And then you would just slap your belly, giggle at me as you throw on episodes of Mating Season. It's just your way. It's how the internet goes. They love to watch a man suffer. So when I make videos where I let you guys choose the episodes, I always kind of expect the worst. Like a gladiator in the Colosseum, I'm pretty much ready for anything. So I'm going to be taking a look at 5 episodes that you all chose that got the most amount of likes, and I'm going to be watching those today. If you want me to watch a specific episode, make sure to comment down below, and if your comment is just so beautiful, so amazing, whether it's to make me suffer or allow me to have a little bit of enjoyment in my life, if it gets the most amount of likes, I will watch it in the next edition of this video. So make sure to comment an episode down below if you want me to watch it. Alright, that's enough chit chat. Let's watch some episodes, huh? Hazbin Hotel Season 2, Episode 6, If You Know, You Know. Now, I was pondering this one. I was staring at it, saw that it had 15 likes. That was one of the highest on the post. I was a little bit worried, because I hate Hazbin Hotel. I have not watched that many episodes, but I really don't like this show. It doesn't have my kind of comedy, it doesn't have my kind of storytelling, I'm just not about it. So for me to be thrust all the way into Season 2, it was a little bit scary, like the boogeyman is looming over me, and having you follow up your request with If You Know, You Know, I was kind of expecting the worst. Like, I don't know, am I about to see something that'll change my life, that'll change my perspective, that'll make me have to just curl down into a ball in fetal position and cry? I don't know. But going into it, it's not that. It's genuinely like if you're at a movie theater and there's 2 women and the women start kissing and you hear those, like, that group of people down at the bottom of the theater, they're sitting in the corner, and the second their lips touch, they're like, like they just let out a squeal of, oh god, that was hard. They just let out a squeal of pure enjoyment, pure excitement. They just can't contain themselves because, oh my god, lesbian kissing. That's pretty much why you made me watch this episode, and I could see no other reason. Especially when you know I haven't watched the full show, so I don't really care about any of the story. The episode follows this character named Vox, who is the villain for the episode, and he's trying to get everything ready for a war against heaven, and so he's going around manipulating a bunch of people, and then there's this bartender guy. I don't care about his name. I don't know his name. You made me watch Season 2 of Hazbin Hotel, and I can't be bothered to learn. He starts drinking and going out and gambling. He has a fine gambling song, I guess. It's okay. He eventually goes to the club, the strip club or whatever, I don't know. And there's this character named Angel, who I did not like when I initially watched the show. And they have a song, cool, nifty, exciting. And then as the episode progresses, eventually Charlie and her friend, forgive me Hazbin Hotel fans, don't castrate me, crucify me, hang me from a noose because I don't know your characters' names. I just don't care very much, I gotta be honest. Eventually Charlie is in a room with her lover, and they've been at odds lately, and they start singing, and it's all a metaphor for how they're having dirty, stinky lesbian sex. And that's the only reason you made me watch this episode, and I know that. Like, I don't care. I'm happy for them. Roll with it. Kiss each other. Have a great time. Woo! Yeah! Lesbians! Woo! Is that what you were expecting from me? You were expecting me to see this and just go in pure excitement? I mean, it's fine. Like, their song's definitely decent. I'm happy for them and their relationship. See, even, do you hear that? That whimsical sound? Even my washer enjoys their lesbian smooching. I'm all about it. But that's the only reason that if you know, you know, the only reason you wanted me to watch this episode is because they get down and dirty with each other. And hey, I gotta be honest, I respect it a little bit. I respect that you loved this scene so much that you had to share it with the Cowmeister. I'm all for it, I guess. The song's decent, the scene's decent, and then it's followed up by a scene that genuinely makes me very uncomfortable, where Angel gets, like, locked in a room with Vox, and Vox is trying to hypnotically control him or her, I don't know, and is, like, trying to stare into his eyes or something, and it actually kind of makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I didn't know how to feel about that one, but that was something. Yeah, so Thanks for making me watch Hazbin Hotel again. I hope you got everything you needed. The episode genuinely wasn't that bad. It's just, I don't know anything about the story, and I don't want to go back and learn it to make this review. So, yeah, I had a great time. Next, I'm going to be taking a look at this one, which got 11 likes. It's Attack of the 50-Foot Baby or Interview with a Monkey from Fleabag Monkey Face. These two episodes are so disgusting and awful, they make Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon look like Season 3 of SpongeBob. That is a bold, bold claim, my friend. Because Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon, it has things like, I don't know, Stimpy putting his gaping mouth on a rat's glutamus maximus and sucking out his fecal matter. So to have such a bold claim here, I think you're unbelievably wrong. I watched this episode and I gotta say I immediately have so many problems with it. The show looks horrible. Fleabag Monkey Face himself looks like he's gonna come up to you and he's just gonna start asking you for some Fent. He needs it so bad. And you would think he would sound like, give me some fentanyl. I need it. I'm fiending. But instead he sounds like, oh yes, may I have some fentanyl, please? May I please have some Fent? And he looks so awful. How do you stare at this? How do you draw this? How do you animate this and think, wow, children are gonna love this? This is going to haunt children's nightmares. There was a pregnant child who heard Fleabag Monkey Face and he decided to liquefy himself. It is so unbelievably awful looking. Now to get into the nitty-gritty of the episode itself, Attack of the 50-Foot Baby. It sounds just like what it is. All of the dialogue is really shit. There's really nothing entertaining. Eventually there's a baby and they have to look after the baby, and the baby covers itself in snot and spit, and they just go, oh, disgustingly hilarious.
Unreal. Cool. Awesome.
So the baby for the rest of the episode has spit and snot all over it, so I didn't like that very much. And then eventually they're at the zoo and the baby gets shot with a growthinator, and so the baby starts getting big and goes around the city, and we get this sequence where the baby is throwing things on our main characters and eventually throws stinky diapers on them. That was kind of gross. I don't really care for a good old rousing round of some stanky diaper. And eventually the 50-foot baby starts climbing this big old building, and I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe what I was about to see next. But the Fent monkey, the Fleabag Fent monkey, he gets up and starts ripping undeniable ass, so much so that he starts flying into the sky like he's wearing a jetpack. Wow. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this show, I don't know what else will. So he's just floating midair, ripping stinky ass, contributing nothing, just looking for his next little inhale, and eventually the baby gets all the way to the top of the building, and the baby has been shitting so much, such a, voluptuous amount, that the diaper rips and just all of the poop falls all over the building.
The diaper looks like it's gonna...
And that ends the episode. That's pretty much all there was to it. Nothing special about it. I don't think that it makes Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon look like Season 3 of SpongeBob by any means, but it is really bad. Like, this is one of the worst shows that I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't really want to watch any more of Fleabag Monkey Face. I just can't get over the fact that this person genuinely looks like they would walk up to me and be like, I'll suck your dick for 5 minutes, for $5, please. That's just what he looks like, and it bothers me in so many ways. It looks atrocious, it isn't good for anybody to watch, and it was a complete and utter waste of time, so thanks for making me watch it. I woke up out of my sleep to the Indiana Jones episode of South Park, Season 12, Episode 8, Genuine Horror, and upon hearing this, I viewed it as a shiny Pokemon because I had no idea what you were talking about. Indiana Jones? Horrifying? What could have happened? This is an episode of South Park that I had never seen before. It's called The China Problem, and with that title alone, I was expecting Eric Cartman to come on my screen and be like, whatever, I hate Chinese people, whatever. And he does do a lot of that, but we also get Indiana Jones getting, used up, unconsensually, a lot against his will, and it's all because of the 2008 movie Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now this got a little bit of fan backlash. It wasn't as good as the old Indiana Jones movies, so Matt and Trey, they got up and they decided to do something about it, and they just had to make it so unbelievably graphic that I couldn't have possibly prepared myself for this episode of South Park. The episode actually opens in a pretty funny way, with Cartman having nightmares because China had the Olympics, and they did that super awesome opening drum ceremony, so he now hates Chinese people, viewing them as the ultimate enemy because they were so coordinated. So he forms the Chinese Liberation Front, where he's going to try to get rid of all the Chinese people in America to try to save them.
Somebody has to stop them! No!
You know, just classic Cartman. He goes to the bus stop and starts being racist, and Kyle, normally the guy that will say, actually, Eric, that's pretty racist. He just can't do it today. He can't bring himself to, because he watched his friend get raped. He watched his friend get used up, and he cannot handle this. So we see Kyle crying. Stan comes to him, trying to comfort him, but Stan can do nothing because Stan isn't ready to face what they saw. He isn't ready to face what they saw when they went to go and see Indiana Jones, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Their friend was used up. Their friend was just against his will. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, they had their way with Indiana. And they just keep discussing this over and over again, and I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I mean, it's almost 20 years old at this point, so it's been a long time since I've seen that Indiana Jones movie, so I don't really know what they're alluding to. I know it's not my favorite movie, but they just keep going on about Indiana getting used up, and I don't know where it's gonna go. At the same time, Cartman, he gets Butters to help them, and they dress up like Chinese people and just go into a Chinese restaurant and go, "Hello, may you help me please? May you help me please?" And they walk up to a Chinese family and just start being extra racist, and it's pretty funny. I can't lie. Everything with the like Cartman Butters side plot is really funny, where eventually the police come and Butters starts shooting people in the dick, and that's what he does over and over and over again, and it makes Cartman see the horrors of America because Butters keeps shooting people in the dick. Ow! Ah! Ow! That side plot is great, but eventually after Stan finds Jimmy, and Jimmy is like, "You can't keep running away from your problems, Stan. You have to see it." We get a flashback of what truly happened in that movie, where George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, they find Indiana, and they just walk up to him, and it's like, "Oh, Indiana, I'm gonna use my lightsaber on you. Oh, yeah." And they start undressing him, kissing him on the neck, and just using Indiana in ways that I never thought I would see before. Poor Indiana!
Oh, yeah. No.
Indy! Yeah!
Indiana, no! And they just start having their way with him, and just not letting him go, and I'm just saying, no, George Lucas, please let him go! Don't sell Star Wars to Disney, just keep making the movies and let Indiana go, he can't take it. And so we watch Indiana get used up a good amount. In between that, there's Butters shooting people in the penis, so that's wonderful. Eventually they're using Indiana up again, just having their way with him. There's this entire sequence where they're like hicks in the forest, that being George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and they're like, "Oh, Indiana, we have a gun. Take off your clothes, boy. Take off your clothes right now. Oh, come here. Can you squeal for me like a piggy? Can you squeal?" In Indiana, he has no other choice but to begin squealing, letting out a as he gets used up in the forest once again.
Squeal. I bet you can squeal like a pig. Go on, squeal. Squeal now. Squeal.
And it's again very sad to watch Indiana go through these things. But eventually they do convince the police that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are horrible, atrocious people. They do not deserve to walk this earth free. And so they go to their house and they find George Lucas and Steven Spielberg having their way with a stormtrooper, an innocent man in a stormtrooper outfit, just going to town on him. And so, thankfully, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are finally going to face their crimes. They're finally going to face everything that they've done, and they've been arrested. Cartman and Butters get off the hook because Steven Spielberg and George Lucas get arrested, so the cops all start hugging and crying because Indiana finally has a little bit of redemption. Everybody can finally be happy, resting easy, knowing that Indiana isn't in danger anymore. He's not going to get used up. He's not going to get touched in ways that we never wanted him to get touched on our screens. But yeah, this episode is pretty funny, I can't lie. Yes, it does like have some touchy subjects. Yes, it is a little bit hard to watch Indiana get violated in such ways, but I just love the lengths that Matt and Trey will go to tell a interesting story. Like, oh man, we really did like this Indiana Jones movie. Let's have the directors and the writers just have their way with Indiana and showcase it on multiple occasions. Stan and Kyle, and honestly the rest of the town's reactions to the movie is really funny, and the side plot with Cartman and Butters just doing all this horrible things to the Chinese is also really funny. This is a really good episode of South Park. Yes, it's a little bit horrifying, but it got me to laugh a decent amount of times, so I honestly liked it a lot. Paper attends an elite institution from rock, paper, scissors. Well, I guess this is the part of the video where I drop everything and all I could do is sing. It's wrong to judge a book by its cover. You should never form opinions on things you haven't seen. Now, I know you're probably crying. You don't know what to do with yourself because you just heard such an angelic harmony, but rock, paper, scissors is actually pretty goddamn intellectual. It actually shocked me at how witty and comedic the show could be, because I thought it was going to be brain-rotted slop. I mean, it's called Rock, Paper, Scissors, but that was where I was all wrong. Judging a book by its cover is something that I should have never done, because this is honestly, it kind of slaps. Like, it was really funny. The episode opens with Paper saying how he dropped out of his academia to be like Steve Jobs, but now it's time for him to get back on that horse, eat that horse, and learn things. So he thinks he's going to college, but he accidentally signed up for elementary school in 3rd grade.
Top sticker on top.
And so he goes there, and he's trying to act like a cool piece of paper, the coolest piece of paper you could ever have blowing in the wind. And it turns out that it's a lot harder than he thought. They're learning things like quantum mechanics and everything about the state of the universe. And so Paper is struggling immensely in school. He doesn't know what to do. He has so many problems. He eventually goes to talk to Scissors and Rock, who are just having a good time. They're having a lot of fun. They're experimenting with all this different stuff, and they keep transforming themselves. And I like it. I actually like the animation for the show a lot too. I think it looks good, and Scissors gives him a good old talk like, look man, I know you have your problems, but why don't you just be balloons with us? Because they just transform themselves into balloons. Just be a balloon with me. Come on, we could float together. You're just intellectually insecure, but that's okay. We could just be balloons together.
Just be balloons with us. Classic Scissors.
And Paper, he doesn't like that one bit. So he has to come up with a plan to get this one guy named Milton to want to be his partner for this assignment, because he views Milton as really smart. And kick on that badass music where Paper's showing how cool he is to Milton. He's just doing everything to look like an absolute badass.
Maybe this will change your mind.
And so Milton decides to be his partner, but it turns out that Milton is really fucking stupid. He is so unbelievably dumb. He's the type of kid that's gonna sit there and eat some rocks and drink Gorilla Glue. So Paper puts him in this machine that's going to allow him to learn how to do this assignment for 10 months, but it's only 10 minutes in the real world. It's basically the hyperbolic time chamber. And so he comes back out and Paper's like, oh yeah, Milton's gonna be so smart, oh yeah. But Milton just turns this ladybug into this giant monster who starts wreaking havoc on the entire school. And you think that Paper's about to have this awesome heroic moment where he's sprinting up, he's running, he's like, I know exactly what to do to stop this. So he's sprinting at the ladybug, and it got me to laugh. It got me to laugh so much. All he fucking does is he just runs out of the room and he just drops out of school because he can't solve the problem, and that's the end of the episode.
Get drop dismissed. King my name. Can't talk this word. Skill too sharp.
You dropped out.
He just drops out and leaves them all to die a horrible ladybug-ridden death. And that was very comedic. That was intellectual, and that was good. I Honestly, if any of Rock, Paper, Scissors is like this, like any of the other episodes, I would genuinely recommend this show. I would genuinely want kids to watch this show, which is so shocking to me. It's shocking to find an actual good modern kids show, and Rock, Paper, Scissors is that. At least from this one episode, at least from the one judgment I can make. It seems funny. It doesn't seem like it tries to dumb itself down for an audience. It seems like it's just trying to be an entertaining show for anybody. And I actually really liked it. And the request with the most amount of likes, Bathtub Bashful, the 7D. Genuinely such a sweet and fun episode with an ending very reminiscent of the ending to Band Geeks from SpongeBob. And hey, I think we're ending with a wholesome one. The 7D is also a show that I had never seen before, and honestly, from this episode that I watched, this also seems like a very wholesome and fun show that I wouldn't mind the world knowing more about. It gives me kind of like Phineas and Ferb vibes, where every single episode kind of has this like wholesome nature to it. It's always a happy ending. It's also filled with feel-good moments, because that's pretty much what this entire episode is. The episode opens with the queen being on a jog. She's running, and she hears a man going, "Oh, I'm working in the mine. I'm spending so much time." And she needs to go and talk to this man, because apparently there's this big jelly palooza tonight, a big celebration, and the girl that they hired initially has a frog in her throat. Oh no! So they go to the seven dwarves' house, and apparently it's Bashful who is the one singing. He's singing in the shower. And the queen initially, she is not the sharpest tool in the shed, to say the least. It's almost like she was hit over the head with a rock, but I kind of like her personality a lot, where they grab a chair for her, and they're like, "Why don't you sit down, milady?" You know, scratching their neck beards, tipping their fedoras. "Sit down, milady." And she's like, "Sit? Why would I do that? Why would I sit down?" And she eventually does sit down, and then they ask, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "Why are any of us here? What is the meaning of this life? What is the meaning of this world? I don't know."
Tell them why we're here.
Why are we here? Does anyone really know? I mean, what's the meaning of life?
And she's struggling immensely with all of that knowledge being funneled into her head, but eventually she wants Bashful to be the head singer of this jelly palooza. The only problem is Bashful doesn't like to sing in front of others. So we get this montage where Bashful is hiding from them. They're looking for Bashful. Eventually they talk to him, and we discover that even though he's like, "I'm working in the mine," and he sounds good in the shower, when he's outside of the shower, he sounds like, "I'm working in the mine."
Working in the mine.
Well, I take those gems and jewels.
He doesn't sound good, so they need to come up with a plan. So eventually we get to the big concert, and we just get a bunch of different acts before Bashful shows up. Eventually they bring the entire shower, and he starts singing in the shower. Everybody's going goo goo gaga over his beautiful singing voice, and eventually, because everybody loves him, he gets the confidence to step out of the bathtub and sing just as good outside of that tub. And it's pretty good. It's just wholesome fun. It's just something that I would want to watch in a morning before school. Just a little bit of fun in my life, and I'm glad that you chose this one to end on. It's just nice to end on something wholesome instead of on the verge of tears, to say the least. This was a good choice, and I'm surprised so many people wanted to choose this one over like slop. So thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Once again, if you want me to watch an episode that you request, comment it down below, and if your request gets the most amount of likes, it'll appear in the next edition of this video, which will probably be in 1 week. Now, I don't know if this video is going to do good. My other one did good, but I'm pretty sure that's only because I had the dog from mating season in the thumbnail. I don't know if this is actually a series that people want to continue, but I really hope it is. I really like getting your guys' inputs on episodes that you want me to watch, because I mean, my main intention with this channel is for it to feel like you're having a conversation with a friend instead of like a big conglomerate, somebody just trying to make a fuck ton of money with all these fast edits, constantly trying to get your brain rotted mind to be attached. It's just a conversation as I enjoy media with you or dislike media with you, so it's fun to get your guys' suggestions featured within my videos. I really like doing this, so I hope I could get to do it more. I hope these videos keep doing decent. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.